Zombie Apocalypse.
Yo, halo WhatsApp bray. Balik lagi di channel Asal Main. Kali ini kita bakal ngelanjutin game Planet Zoo. Kemarin ternyata di part 5, kemarin ternyata itu dalam mode karirnya kemarin itu ternyata baru di bagian atas. Ini good wine host, ternyata masih banyak tuh yang di bawah. Nah, jadi kita selesain karir ini aja ya sekalian. Ini kayaknya juga untuk tutorial gitulah buat membangun kebun binatang. Ini tadi sudah coba gua mainin, ini bakal gua lanjutin lagi yang karir bagian ini. Oke, langsung aja kita lanjutkan. Ayo buat teman-teman jangan lupa bantu like, subscribe, dan komen untuk membantu membangun channel ini. Tolong dibantu ya. Nah, udah masuk
Now,
gamenya.
you've probably
Sekarang
noticed
kita
that there's already a building where I want you to build the research center. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell. So we're able to place our new building inside of it.
Oke,
If
kita
you
di sini
select the
sudah
research center for
bangun.
placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research center to the existing building.
Research center.
Okay, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research center so it automatically connects to the path when we place it.
Udah pas belum? Make sure it's connect to pad. Susah anjay. Ini aja lah kita lepas.
Right. Splendid work. Now that we have a brand spanking new research center, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs. That said, you can change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about that just now. So, let's get our vet researching ring-tailed lemurs. Go into the zoo section and select Vet Research. Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research.
Kita melakukan research terhadap hewan-hewan. Apa nih yang mau di research? Drag and drop pet the ring tailed mana lemur? Ring tailed lemur ikon gitu. Oh begini caranya. Oke, kita drag salah satu petariannya ke sini bro.
Actually, thinking
Astaga, dari
about
tadi
it,
dicari.
I'm not sure we've got any education boards or speakers by the lemur's habitat. Let's head over there and add some, so our guests can learn all about the furry little delights. First off, let's pop down 2 education boards. Place them on the habitat barriers at a height that guests can see, or, if you like, pop them down on a stand. Okay, now that they've been put into position, we have to tell them what animal to display information about. Select one of the education boards to bring up its information panel. And from the drop-down list, select ring-tailed lemur. Although I'm sure that last part was obvious. When you link an education board or a speaker to an animal, you need to make sure that said animal is close by. If it isn't, the guests will get confused and won't learn as much.
Ik heb ze zeggen, dokter. Budiata va Alvarez Club. Nu is de gama, alweer. Lam deve commons of the party. Sayo comes la patrus. The lamp and this for a fire us. I told they do it into feet. The lamp and these barafai yaras. Hayo mashuri kalino penfi.
Okay, now that we've done the education boards, let's pop down a pair of speakers. Speakers play audio to the guests so they can learn while they look at the animals, instead of having to go through the laborious process of reading. Oh, one thing to bear in mind is that it's important not to put the speakers too close together. If you do, the guests won't be able to understand what's being said.
Terus kita disuruh nambahin speaker. Tuh, itu tutorialnya. Terus disuruh nambahin speaker. Speaker di sini taruh di mana nih? Situ satu sama dekat sini satu.
Now we simply need to link the speakers to the ring-tailed lemurs, just like you did with the education boards.
Oke, terus kita kasih ini. Nah, tuh ada kedengaran suaranya kan? Edukasinya. Terus yang satunya juga.
Fantastic! Oh, it's worth remembering that education boards and speakers both need power to work. They won't do much good without it. Oh, it looks as though our vet has completed their research on ring-tailed lemurs. We'll need to collect the results. We can do that by clicking on the notification or by going back into the vet research area.
Tuh, dia sudah level 6.
Collect your research rewards.
Collect.
Just so you know, vets will continue to research an animal even after successfully completing a research level. I suppose when you're in the zone, you're in the zone. Well, now that we've enriched the lives of our guests, let's enrich the lives of our ring-tailed lemurs. Some animals, like lemurs, will have a climbing need. That means they have a requirement for a certain amount of climbing space, and you can fulfill that requirement by building them a climbing frame. Let's find out how much more climbing space our lemur friends need, shall we? Select one of them and bring up their information panel.
Loh, namanya Sarwendah nih. Agung. Nama orang hutannya Sarwendah, berarti istrinya si Ruben dong.
Next, click on the Terrain tab. Now, as you can see, the lemurs need quite a lot more climbing space. But as it happens, I've already got a climbing frame blueprint built for you. So you can either pop that down or build one yourself from scratch. By the way, it's not always just climbing needs that you have to worry about. Other animals might need a certain amount of water in their habitat so they can go for a swim. They certainly do keep us on our toes.
Dia butuh panjat-panjatan nih, si lemur nih. Kita kasih panjat-panjatan.
Oh, that's a great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know what would make them even happier, though? Nicer food. But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it? You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on. Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat.
Oke. Kita select lagi si lemur Mijoro. Mana dia? Ini dia. Lagi ngapain dia? Lagi makan. Guring makan bahiranya. Set ring toilet remote for quality grade 2.
Lovely. Now select the Animals tab. There we go. As you can see, we can set the food quality in here. Just click on the drop-down menu and select Grade 2 Food Quality. Grade 2 Food Quality. My mouth's already watering. So, a new climbing frame and better food. Oh, you've really spoilt those lemurs rotten. Now, I think it's time we looked at one of the zoo's most important responsibilities, releasing animals into the wild. You see, when we feel an animal is ready, we can release them into the wild. But what makes an animal a good candidate for release? Well, their age is an important factor. I mean, we can't release an animal that's a juvenile, just as we can't release one that's gotten too old. They'll also need to be fertile. After all, the idea is to repopulate the wild, so the best candidates will have a high fertility gene. And together, the age and fertility of a candidate will determine how many conservation credits will be rewarded when we release them. Now, conservation credits are vitally important. They're the lifeblood of your zoo, because earning them allows you to adopt even more animals. And what's more, the animals you can adopt will be of a higher quality. So, with that in mind, let's pop over to our orangutan habitat.
Oke, kita bakal
Okay,
ngerilis orang
I'd like you to
hutan.
find Agung, the Bornean orangutan in the
Okay.
habitat, and select him, please.
Kita cari
You
si
can either
Agung.
click
Mana
through
si
each
Agung?
orangutan in turn,
Kita
or
bakal
select the
ngerilis si
habitat
Agung ke
barrier,
alam
go to the
liar.
animals tab in the habitat information panel, and find him in the animals list.
Kita cari si Agung. Mana kamu, Gung? Agung. Agung bakal kita kirim ke alam liar nih, si Agung nih. Oh, kalau misalnya kita mau ngerilis si Agung, mana si Agung tadi? Kita lihat dulu mukanya Agung. Oh, ini si Agung. Ini dia si Agung. Kasihan kamu. Bakal berpisah sama teman-temanmu, Gung. Si Agung bakal kita rilis ke alam liar nih. Ini rilis Agung to the wild. Rilis.
I know it's sad to see him go, but he'll be happy out in the wild. And he's a wonderful candidate for release. Young, strong, and fertile. Excellent work there. You've definitely got potential, you know.
Ah, I see you've been doing some homework. Although, it hardly seems like work when you're learning about something as adorable as a ring-tailed lemur. I imagine I'd have got much better grades at school if there'd been less algebra and more aldebra. Tortoises.
Okay, so far we've done a lot of work with habitat animals, but now it's time to learn all about exhibit animals. Let's build a brand new exhibit.
Oke, sekarang
I've
kita
marked an area for our
disuruh
new exhibit.
Kenapa
How
nih?
about we head over there?
Ini.
Lovely. Now let's build a new exhibit in the gap that's been left. Just add it to the building like we did with the research centre earlier. Then pop it into the gap.
Facility, terus ini, terus ini ya, exhibit. Nah, gue bingung tempatnya nih, mana nih? Pusing anjay.
Perfect. The next thing to do is adopt an exhibit animal to go in there. How about a Gila
Masa
monster?
kayak gini?
Open up the exhibit trading section and adopt one.
Gila monster. Hewan apaan tuh gila monster? Adopt gila monster. Terus oh, gila monster ini apa nih? Kadal, kita adopsi dia.
Just as we do with habitat
Terus
animals,
kita
we
kirim.
need to send the Gila monster to the exhibit.
Oke.
Click on the exhibit to send it there. When you send an animal to an exhibit, it'll automatically be given the correct setup. But that doesn't mean it's completely ready for them. So let's finish it off. We'll
Go.
start by adding some enrichment items. Click on the exhibit to bring up its information panel.
Sudah tuh? Berapa banyak nih? Masa di atas sini coba. Orang mau ngeliat gimana mau naiknya. Nantilah kita setting. Soalnya kita juga masih belajar tuh.
Good. Now click on the layout tab.
Layout.
Oh, well, it looks like we've only got the enrichment level 1 items unlocked at the moment. Never mind, let's turn on at least one of them for the Gila monster.
Suruh ngapain tadi?
Oh, well, it looks like we've only got the enrichment level 1 items unlocked at the moment. Never mind, let's turn on at least one of them for the Gila monster. As I'm sure you know by now, you can unlock more enrichment levels by having one of your vets do some research. Now, we'll also need to set the temperature and humidity in the exhibit. These are vitally important for keeping our Gila monster happy and comfortable. Click on the Climate tab.
Terus?
Here, you can see the Gila monster's desired temperature and humidity. You can change both of these by adjusting the dials below. Make
Oke.
sure it's going to be nice and cozy.
Dia butuh temperatur berapa tuh? Set temperatur and humidity. Nah, 40 derajat Celcius. Si gilanya mana si gilanya? Di set berapa nih maunya nih? Oh, terlalu hot. Dia butuh nggak bisa lembab-lembab, berarti harus kering dia. Kita turunkan di 8% coba. Oh, dia cocokkan di 21% bro. Sorry. Dia cocokkan di 21%. Nah, seginilah.
That's the ticket.
pas.
And the last thing we need to look at is setting up the different windows. So click on the Windows tab.
Terus
You can edit and customize any of the windows on an exhibit. A window can be closed and blank, or have a two-dimensional background, or even a three-dimensional
gitu.
background on it. Why don't you have a play around with the options?
bisa dikasih background.
There's also an exhibit education board. Pop them down near exhibits to teach your guests about them. Let's add one now.
Oke, terus dikasih education. Educationnya kita taruh di mana? Sinilah. Terus gila monster.
Lovely stuff. Now our guests can learn all about our venomous friend here. Right, now, I've got a bit of a big job for you. I need you to increase the number of species in the zoo. You'll probably want to adopt both habitat and exhibit animals to do so, which will mean building plenty of new habitats and exhibits for them. Go on, off you pop. I'll check in with you when you're almost done.
Oke, nah ini di quest terakhirnya kita bakal disuruh mempunyai sampai 19 spesies di dalam kebun binatang. Nah, untuk itu sampai di sini aja. Nanti kita lanjut lagi di part selanjutnya. Nanti kita mungkin bakal nambahin beberapa habitat untuk ini berapa berarti kurang habitat 9 habitat. Oke, teman-teman semua, jangan lupa bantu like dan subscribe-nya. Assalamualaikum, bye bye.